Welcome to the Common Ego community. My name is Christina, and I'm so glad you're here. Today, we're looking at proof that the narcissist is truly an insecure person. And I know I can tell you this all day, but these examples prove beyond any shadow of a doubt and with some research that the narcissist is deeply insecure. And all of that devaluation, all of that abuse that they put on you, and unfortunately you may have accepted somewhere along the way because it's very easy to do, all of that is really just projection. Now, of course, these are things that the narcissist does not want you to know. These are secrets that the narcissist does not want me to share, and they may not even know them themselves. Because not only are these things that the narcissist hides from you, but they also hide them from themselves. So be sure to follow along and pay attention to each of the 5 examples and let me know how many of them you can relate to. How many have you seen in the narcissist in your life? And I can pretty well guarantee the narcissist in your life does not want you to watch this video. But if you would like to help me get the message out, go ahead and hit that like button now, because that signals to YouTube that this is a video worth watching. This is a video that more people need to see. So in our first example, we look at a narcissist who has accomplished something and can't stop talking about it. I know you have been there. I know you have encountered a narcissist who does this because essentially at some point they all do. Because underneath they're deeply insecure. And what they really want is external validation. And I think that's something that most of us can relate to on some level. But they actually need that external validation to help them regulate their own self-esteem. And there was a recent study done back in 2021 that really highlights this. The study suggests that true narcissists attempt to elevate themselves due to insecurity, emptiness, and unstable self-esteem. And when we talk about narcissists and self-esteem, you may be wondering what the difference is between an overt or grandiose narcissist and a covert or vulnerable narcissist. The vulnerable narcissist is much more outwardly insecure. And that's where this study gets really interesting, because this study suggests that the vulnerable narcissist is more like the true narcissist, and the grandiose narcissist behaves more like a psychopath. And the study cites that this is because the grandiose narcissist is much more interested in power and control than status and admiration. So for the second example that proves that the narcissist in your life is truly insecure, let's look at a narcissist who is in the presence of someone who's succeeding. Now, I want you to just take a minute and guess how they're going to respond to that. Are they going to be supportive and congratulate the person without any backhanded compliments or jabs? Or are they going to do exactly the opposite? If you've ever known a narcissist, it could be a narcissistic parent, a mother or a father. It could be a narcissistic friend, or it could be a romantic partner. And maybe you've encountered all of these types of narcissists. But it doesn't matter which one you're dealing with, even a narcissistic boss. They're going to knock you down whenever you are feeling good. So if you just accomplished something and you're just feeling on top of the world, and a narcissist sees you happy, they're going to do whatever they can to quickly knock that out of you. The narcissist really is trying to regulate their own negative feelings about themselves, the shame, the insecurity, the powerlessness that they're feeling. They're trying to regulate that through you. So if you're feeling that way, then they don't have to. So if you're feeling good, that really triggers those things within them that they're trying to hide. And so that's why this happens so often and so consistently with a narcissist. Because when they see your happiness, it triggers something within them. And it's almost like a knee-jerk reaction. It's almost like they can't help it. They have to knock you down a few pegs in order to feel right again. So they may do something like diminishing your accomplishments, or they may imply that you don't actually deserve it, or the opposite, that it's amazing that you accomplished that because, you're actually really not that smart. And sometimes when they have to knock you down real fast and they don't have anything, they'll just start to pick you apart. They might interrupt your story and your excitement to tell you, oh, look at that. What's that? You have something on your face. Or, oh, is that dog hair on your shirt over there? And yeah, these are silly things. But what that interruption does is it takes you from up here. You're flying high. You're so happy. You're proud of yourself. And you feel like you're on top of the world. They interrupt your happiness to just throw in these little subtle digs to imply that, okay, yeah, you did this thing, but you're still a mess. And this is where you will definitely see one-upmanship if they can do it. So if they can top your story, they absolutely will, and they'll make the conversation about them. Even if it's not relevant, even if their accomplishment was something they accomplished years ago, they can't handle having the spotlight on you. And that alone proves insecurity, because if you think about truly confident people in this world, they have no problem building someone else up, right? If somebody's truly confident in their ability to succeed, it doesn't matter if you also succeed. It doesn't take away from their strengths, from their capabilities. And they know this. They're secure in that. So they might even help you succeed. This is not something you'll ever see with a narcissist. It is 100% all back to them. Whenever they see you succeeding, their reaction has nothing to do with your success. It's purely about the narcissist regulating their own emotions. So for the third example that proves that the narcissist is truly insecure, let's look at the blame-shifting narcissist. So imagine a narcissist gets a bad review at work. Their boss is really unhappy with their performance and they let them know under no uncertain terms. What's going to happen now? So the narcissist is probably going to rage out. I mean, that seems like a given. They may also hide the news. If they don't have to tell somebody, they might not do it. So the narcissist might walk out of their boss's office and a coworker or a work friend comes up and says, "How did it go?" And they might just completely lie to their faces and tell them it was great, because it's very difficult for a narcissist to have other people see them in a negative light. Again, they need that external validation and they need other people to believe that they are amazing and they're smart and they're high performing. The thing that it is, whether it's smart or funny or high performing or attractive, it's different from person to person. But whatever it is that they value, they need you to value it too. But the third way that a narcissist may react in this situation is by blame shifting. And so the narcissist may just go on and on about how their boss has it out for them. They don't know what they're doing. Only the narcissist knows how to run this place. And if they would only listen to them, then things would go smoothly. They project the image that the boss has it out for them and they are the victim. Now, again, confident people do not play the victim. That's the opposite of what a confident person does, because a big part of confidence is understanding that you have control over your own life and your destiny. If you don't feel like you have power and control over your own life, there's absolutely no way you could have confidence, because someone else could change anything on a whim and you have no control over it. So you can't be confident in much of anything that you're doing. And again, this comes back to that external validation, because a narcissist needs that to help them regulate themselves. As much as they hate relying on other people, they actually do need other people. So as much as they would hate for you to know this, a narcissist does not have as much control over their own lives as a lot of people do, as they would like you to think that they do. When you start peeling back the layers and you dig really deep into what narcissism really is, you start looking at some of the research, you can see that people who score high in narcissism are also people who are carrying a lot of shame. Now, another 2021 study that I'll link to in the description box below found that young people higher in vulnerable narcissism demonstrated greater shame, and in turn, higher scores in preoccupied fear and attachment. So this means that the vulnerable narcissist has a strong desire to connect with people, yet they also strongly distrust people and have a fear of intimacy. So this study essentially points to what we've known all along, is that the narcissist just gets in their own way. and they take other people down in the process. So the narcissist knows that they want connection, they can't seem to make it happen, but it can't be their fault. Just like it can't be their fault when they get a bad review at work, it has to be your fault that this relationship can't work. It has to be that there's something wrong with you and not them. So the fourth example that proves that narcissists are truly insecure is the narcissist who can't seem to find happiness no matter what they do. And yes, this is all narcissists. If you've ever gotten close to a narcissist, you know that they're deep down not truly happy people. And they can project that image of somebody who is happy and content and has it all together. But again, when you get a little bit closer, you can see that they're not really happy people. And yes, this is sad. I would personally love to see everyone happy. And if that were true, if everyone could be happy, then people wouldn't go around hurting each other as much as they do. But the fact of the matter is that not everyone can be happy, not without a lot of work and a lot of help. In fact, one study found that 29% of people diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder also suffered from a mood disorder. And of those people, of that 29%, 7% of them suffered from major depression. So for the next example that narcissists are truly insecure people, let's look at some bouts of narcissistic rage. If you have ever experienced narcissistic rage, you know what I'm talking about. This is something that can really, truly just come out of nowhere, or so it seems. I've said before, and I've heard other people say, that you can ask a narcissist to pass the salt, and boom, you triggered something within them and they are raging out at you. I had a similar experience in my own life where I asked a very simple question that I did not think was triggering in any way. And seconds later, I had this person this far from my face screaming, red in the face, and spitting all over me as he screamed at me for I don't even know how long. It's such a confusing experience. It's dizzying. You can't quite wrap your mind around it. But really what's happening here is that the narcissist can't handle anything that they perceive as criticism, anything that they perceive as a slight, especially if it triggers shame within. So everyone is going to have their own shame triggers. Something that makes you feel shame may not make me feel shame. And if you've listened to any of the experts talk about this stuff, like Brene Brown, for example, you probably know that the best way to deal with shame is to bring it out into the open, to take away its power, to start talking about the things that make you feel ashamed. But for a narcissist, this is always very painful. Anything that even gets close to a shame trigger is going to trigger narcissistic rage. It's going to trigger extreme anger. And in some people, yes, that does come in the form of stonewalling and silent treatment. So it's much more passive aggressive than aggressive. But the rage that is underneath is still very present and still very obvious, especially when you know this person very well. So when we're talking about insecurity, let's look at the opposite of insecurity, and that is really confidence, security in who you are as a person. And if you were secure in who you were as a person, you wouldn't be so easily triggered. And what we see with narcissistic rage, it is an unbridled rage that just they will unleash on whoever is in front of them. But really what they're doing is they're shutting you down. They're shutting you down through extreme force. They need you to stop whatever it is you're doing. And they are not pulling out any punches. They're going from like a 0 to a 10 because they know if they confuse you, if they frighten you, you're less likely to continue on the same line that you were. And you're also less likely to bring up that subject again, so you end up walking on eggshells around this person. So my hope in sharing all of this is that you understand that this is all something that comes from within the narcissist. And they are truly insecure people. And if you break that down, yes, it is a little bit sad, and you might be tempted to want to help them. But it's never a good idea to help someone who does not want to help themselves. And if you've ever gotten close to a narcissist, if you're watching this video right now, I know that you have been there. And I know you know the danger of trying to help someone who does not want to to help themselves because they can pull you down to where they are. And if you're dealing with a narcissist, not only will they pull you down, but then at some point when it's not working for them anymore, they'll eject you, they will discard. And then you're in a worse place than you were when you met them. So the best course of action always is to avoid getting too close to a narcissist. Now, this is not always possible, of course. Sometimes it's apparent and you can't, as a young child, get away from that narcissist. But you can do things in your adult life. You can look out for the signs of narcissism and set the right boundaries to keep yourself safe. And if you're wondering what those boundaries are, I'm going to link to a video right here where I talk all about that, the boundaries that you need to have with a narcissist. And if you found value in this video, there are a whole lot more videos like this on this channel and more to come. So go ahead and click right over here and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next week.